In today's Red Pill Investor Podcast, we're going to talk about iBuyers and the threat that they pose to your business. Thanks for joining me. I'm Carl Krenzel here. On today's episode of the Red Pill Investor Podcast, we're going to talk about iBuyers and some of the lies that you're hearing in the marketplace that can affect your mindset. You know, I've been in this real estate game an awful long time, and one of the biggest things I know is that you have to have a strong mindset if you're going to compete in the marketplace. Now, where you are today, there's probably not any iBuyers, as iBuyers are a relatively new phenomenon on the marketplace. And there's just a few cities that large cities across the United States that have to deal with it. But there's going to come a time where you may have to deal with an iBuyer. And if you are dealing with an iBuyer right now, well, you might be thinking there's a few things that you can't do. You might even have it in your mindset that you can't compete with some of these people. Well, I'm here to give you some positive advice. 7 ways to help you go ahead and improve your business when you're trying to compete with iBuyers. So let's take a couple looks at what the market is saying about this. Now, according to Risk Media, there was an article written over there by Daryl Davis. He's a coacher and a trainer. He's written a couple books. One of the books is How to Become a Power Agent in Real Estate, and he's in Amazon's charts for a lot. He wrote an article in RIS Media, RISmedia.com. You could find it there. And basically, he talks about how iBuyers' lies are affecting your business and in your mindset. You know, the truth about the matter is, when you start talking about iBuyers, there's really, 7 to 10 things you need to think about. First, when you're in the real estate game as a real estate investor or as a real estate agent, okay, competing against an iBuyer like OfferPad, Zillow, OfferUp, something like that, you have to remember that iBuyers are investors, not regular buyers. Now, it's true, in some marketplaces, they may be able to bid almost like a retail buyer, but the reality is iBuyers do have a limit on what they can do. So you as an agent or you as an investor, it's critical for you to find those points that you can go ahead and maneuver in so you can show yourself as a good competitor against these firms. Right? So for example, if they're investors and not regular buyers, if you're an agent, you really want to take this into consideration because they're not going to pay a retail price. If you have a seller who's looking to sell their property for a retail price, then they're not going to get it from OfferUp, they're not going to get it from Zillow, they're not going to get it from any of those places. Why this is important? Well, very simply, it makes it simple for you and I because we can simply make this case that they're not going to get that premium price that most sellers are looking for. Second thing I think you probably want to think about is understand that these iBuyers are looking out for their interests, not the consumer. Right? The consumer is not being looked after in this transaction whatsoever. And many times, even though they're advised by Zillow or some of these other places to seek representation or to seek consult before they accept an offer, many times they just don't do this. So what does this tell us as real estate professionals, as real estate investors? Well, understand that when you're making an offer on a property, okay, that many times they're just simply looking out for this convenience. You know, and because of this, they're willing to circumvent an agent to go to somebody who's not looking out for their interest. So as an agent, one of the things I think you probably ought to consider is promoting your value as a fiduciary agent to help them gain that highest price possible. Because remember, there are other avenues besides an instant buyer. Third thing I think you probably want to recognize is that they purchase homes based on what they say it's worth. Now, when you're talking to iBuyers like Zillow or others, they're only going to base their pricing based on what they say it's worth. So if you, let's say for example, you were selling your home as a home seller to an agent who is an investor. An agent who is an investor would have to provide you with comparables from the market analysis that was done in the area so that you would know what you were selling your home for and roughly what your home would be worth. That would be the fair thing to do. That's what's called for under the Code of Ethics. If you're an investor, well, certainly there's no requirement for you to tell anybody what the home is worth. But think about somebody like Zillow or OfferUp or OfferPad or somebody like that making an offer on their home, right? They say, Zillow, let's say, says their home, according to their automated valuation method, is only worth X dollars. And that's why they're only going to pay a certain amount. Well, sometimes if you're getting your values and your offer from the same person, you're not always going to get a straight deal. Another thing to consider, right? They tell consumers that they'll pay a seller's concession fee with an agent, which is patently untrue. A lot of times, listen to this, if you're an agent out there in the marketplace right now, if you're a listing agent out there in the marketplace right now, trying to take a listing, and let's say you find yourself up against someone who's considering taking an offer up or an offerpad or a Zillow type offer, right? Well, something to consider is that they're hearing from offerpad and Zillow and all these others that they're going to pay a concession fee. Now, you and I both know that that's not true. I mean, whether or not a seller is going to pay a concession is entirely based on the offer. It's based on the market. It's based on the pricing. It's based on 100 different factors, not just one factor all the time. It's true, sometimes sellers do pay concessions, but not always. And for a person to make a decision based on a home like that, that can be an awful lot of money. Next, they tell consumers that they're buying it to flip it for a profit, and they tell the sellers, they make them pay a 6 to 13% commission, which they call a service fee. Now, look, I understand that a lot of sellers in your market and my marketplace probably think that our commissions, whether they be X or Y percent, whatever X or Y percent may be, are just too damn high. They probably think that. Well, if they think your commission is just too damn high, right? Well, imagine what they're going to think when they look and they see a service fee of anywhere from 6 to 13% on OfferPad or OfferUp or on Zillow's iBuyers format. When they see that, how are you fundamentally saving any money? You're not. As a matter of fact, you're losing money, and you're losing a lot of it. Because in addition to their commission, they charge another commission called a market risk fee, which is another anywhere from 2 to 6%. Now, look, they make sellers pay for the the repairs that they want done, and they control the entire process, not the consumer. So if you're an agent in the marketplace and you're trying to figure a way that you can go ahead and start working with some of these people and finding a way that you can help them, well, understand a couple things. First and foremost, that the seller, the reason why they're going to the iBuyer in the first place is because there's just so much convenience. Sellers are able to pick the closing date, and they have the potential to search for their new home while their current home is currently under contract. And when you think about it, there's just no need to make the majority of renovations or repairs because the agency is going to take care of it. And that eliminates the need for showings or open houses, which saves your clients a lot of time and stress. And because it's technology driven, the process is made just as convenient as possible. And clients upload photographs to their home and they receive an immediate offer. Now, when you think this through, they're getting a much lower sales price. How can you counteract this? Well, understand a few things. First, the market statistics. I've always been very, very stringent on this. You need to know the time of your market. More often than not, your market is moving very quickly. How often does it take, or how long does it take for homes in the area to sell? How much of the list price versus sales price are they getting? Chances are, if your market is doing well, they're getting anywhere from 97 to 99% of the asking price. How long, how many homes are on the market, and how much is the absorption rate? How long is it going to take for properties to sell if a home doesn't go on the market and doesn't sell right away? How long does it take if no other homes come on the market? When you think about it, a lot of times we start to think about iBuyers as a brand new problem. And the reality is this is not a brand new problem whatsoever. This is a lot like, relocation management was back in the early 70s. I mean, there was a big thing about, companies coming in, doing relocation and buying the homes from people and putting them on the market and then putting them on the market with selected agents. You know what? Everything old is new again. All you've got to do is find out where it is that the benefits that an iBuyer is giving your client are, and then provide the same benefits or better. And you, as an individual practitioner, can do it. Now you know the lies that they're telling your client. I hope that's been helpful for you. If it has, do me a favor, share this on your social media and let somebody know. I really appreciate you. And as always, I hope you have a powerful sales day.